Raphael thought he could outsmart us, but there are other ways to get the Orphic hammer, guaranteed. We know he keeps it in the House of Hope. If we can find a Diabolist, they could help us make our way in. I met her twice. The first time, I was a boy of 7 or 8, at a banquet in the Flaming Fist's honor. One look and I was smitten. Chestnut hair that flowed behind her like willow fronds, as she floated from one room to the next as if carried by clouds. The second time, Stelmane was different. Even with the aid of a cane, each step she took was a struggle. Every word she spoke took great physical effort. A stroke victim? I asked Father later. No, he said. A stroke survivor. Not a tragedy, a calculated cruelty. Think about it. My father was tadpoled. Stelmane is dead. The people are frightened and the council's in disarray. To exert control, he must first sow chaos. A tyrant's strategy, as Father would say. These murders aren't random acts. Someone powerful is guiding the killer's hand, and the city is made weaker for it. Unthinkable. To see my own father named Gortash, the sole ruler of Baldurs Gate. Please, we need to speak with him. Maybe he can see reason.
Truest of souls, bathed in her light.
There is a fleeting connection. Your parasite communes with his, then falls quiet.
Father, my dearest boy, the hells have touched you, but you've come to me just as Gortash said you would. A true soul, no less. Father and son, unstoppable generals. You and your allies will usher in a new dawn. What is a hero, if not an actor for the greater good? Faerun suffers in darkness. Tyr has abandoned us. Helm's Eye has strayed. But Baldur's Gate will soon burn bright, a beacon to light the heavens. Gortash and I will ignite the final spark, and that, true soul, is the greatest of goods.
No. This isn't him. This is the tadpole talking.
For a brief moment, uncertainty clouds his mind, then dissipates. The astral prism vibrates in concord.
What nonsense is this?
The prism quivers once more. Ravengard falters.
As I said, Baldur's Gate will ascend. Tyrill's first and only grand city.
First comes a vision of terror, the city of Baldur's Gate taken by Lithids. But beyond the terror, there is hope. You see a beaming Ravengard presiding over the sunlit city, applauded by the people. A people at peace.
Ravengard, the real Ravengard, is in there somewhere. We can't give up on him.
Have we finished then?
Incredible. To hear my father's voice speak those words, like a stranger wrapped in his flesh. But there's still a glimmer of him in there, calling for release. I feel it. I know it. I won't let the Absolute keep him. This is my pledge. Damn it all! We've got to get Gale back. If that means killing Gortash, nothing would give me greater pleasure.
What did I tell you? A momentous occasion. I'm sure you agree.
I've had enough, Mizora. What do you want?
Your attention, little pup. Nothing more. And you'll be glad to give it. You see, Gortash has had your father relocated. To the slaughter, the way I hear it.
Shit.
Your dad's good as dead, pup. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there?
You know something.
I know enough. I'll be in your camp if you want to work something out.
Of course she'd stick her infernal nose where it doesn't belong. Of course she's dreamt up some risible scheme. By all the hounds of the hells, what is she planning? Certainly not. But she's as inevitable as Torril's path around the sun. We'll have answers soon enough. Mizora's gone to camp. We should speak with her. Until then, may my father keep safe, whatever coop he's been flown to.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in beator.
Notum sit in beator.
Holy hells.
Fina, Cirrus, arbiters for the hells, exemplars of justice.
Enough, Mizora. Where is my father? How do I save him?
How else? We bargain. Sisters.
Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos. Infernos contractos te vocamos.
Your contract, Wyll. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable. A life for a life. No contract is ended without sacrifice. The cost must be paid. Wyll Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldurs Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel. I won't let her take Wyll.
Silence, Karlak.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose. Addendum F. The Absolute must be avenged for the Soulbinder's detention at Moonrise. The Soulbearer retains his gifts until such time as the Absolute is slain.
You damned wretch. Do it then. Claim my soul for Zariel. Keep my father safe.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Seems you've got a new mission, pup. Go save your father. He's locked in a very nasty place. Gortash's secret command center and prison. Lucky for you, I know the way in. I'll mark your map. After all, a deal's a deal. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Twice Mazoris held my feet to the fire, and twice was I burnt. But my father will live. We will return the Grand Duke to his people. And forever a devil's leash will choke me. That means a lot. But understand, I don't plan to wallow in self-pity. More than anything, I'm elated that there's hope yet for my father. We should hurry to this mystery prison and retrieve my father before Mazora tries pulling more tricks. We will knock him out if we need to, or restrain.
Your skull vibrates in concord with the astral prism.
Bring me to your Duke. I will shield him, as I shield you.
Why would you do that?
Better to bring him into the fold than to leave you distracted by regret.
Well then, I'm not about to say no. This prison's in the lower city. Let's move.
Why the stunned face? You look like you've seen a devil. Cunning, am I? You see me as a schemer, an exploiter. You've pegged me wrong, little bug. I am a benefactress, and I have an eye for a good cause. Wyll needed help, so I indulged him. I've always been the giving type, after all. To wit, go to Gortash's secret prison, and I'll help you spring Wyll's daddy free. Of course, you could always leave him to rot, but that would make Wyll's sacrifice worthless, and I know you wouldn't want that. Ugh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead three in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel, but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead after all. Focus on the elder brain. I'd hate to clog that infected head of yours with needless details. Now, you know what they say about curiosity and cats. Why? I'm supplying Wyll with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what, when the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand. Like I said, I'm the giving type. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus, my mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy.
Baal's chosen has been bled. May her torment be tenfold of that which she inflicted. Astarion showed restraint where most others wouldn't. He might not appreciate the sentiment, but I'm proud of him.
Your father is still tadpoled, but under my protection now, just like you. His mind is his own again.
Father?
Wyll. Gods, it pains me to look at you. By Baldur's graces, why have the hells ordained you to save me?
I know you have questions, but for now, I need you safe. Go to my camp. We'll talk soon enough.
Very well. Until then, may Helm guide me.
Calmness greets you upon exiting the submersible. Unlike the Iron Throne, you remain intact. It seems most of the hostages from the throne share your fate. Duke Ravengard approaches you, looking confused.
He's tadpoled, but under my protection now, just like you. His mind is his own again.
Father?
Wyll. Gods, it pains me to look at you. By Baldur's graces, why have the hells ordained you to save me?
Your tadpole resonates with Ravengard's. The exhausted Grand Duke is a flurry of emotion.
By every last hell, son, are you all my head?
Ravengard's head still aches so powerfully the pain seeps into you. The Absolute may be silenced, but the Duke's parasite still remains.
I know you have questions. Please, go to our camp. You'll be safe there. We'll talk soon enough.
Ravengard answers with silence. He and Wyll have much to discuss.
Father will be waiting in camp. It's about time we talked.
First you cleave my heart in twain, now you shatter it to pieces. My son, a monster. Twisted beyond recognition. To think my blood flows through those veins. Is this my fate? To be freed from Gortash's hell, only to be trapped in yours?
It isn't what you think. It never was.
You turned your back on me, on your city, to chase the she-devil and her power. She stinks up the place even now. It is exactly what I think. There is always a choice.
Father, please. There's something I must show you.
Ravenguard's tadpole clenches as your memories and Wyll's flow into him.
My tears wounds. I'm in your mind.
The Grand Duke sees Mizora and her infernal sisters. He sees the agony in Wyll's face as an impossible choice is set before him.
No. My son.
The past becomes present, and Wyll's thoughts are laid bare. Ravengard sees Wyll partnering with Mizora to defeat Tiamat's cultists before they could lay siege to Baldur's Gate, and he sees everything beyond. The Nautiloid journey, the perilous path to Moonrise, the astral prism, and the Emperor within.
Wyll.
Everything I did for Baldur's Gate. I did for you.
My son. You sold your soul to save Baldur's Gate, and I cast you out for it. You gave yourself to the Hell's eternal fires so I might walk free. By the gods. Can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive. You wanted to protect the city. I only ever wanted the same.
You are a better man than most, and a better son than I deserve. I'll yet make amends, but my duty is first and foremost to the city and its people. There's something I must ask of you. Before I was captured, I was on a mission. Returning from Elturel, I discovered the plans of the Absolutists. I immediately realized the city couldn't defend itself against such an army. I didn't despair, because the city has a secret guardian, a worm that sleeps beneath. He can be called upon in times of great need. This is such a time. You've been trained in the ways of the great champions and proven to be one of them. The worm will answer your call. You must seek him out. A bronze dragon, yes. He sleeps beneath us even now, awaiting a hero to rouse him. The worm goes by many names. Azure, the waiting storm, the heart of the gate. He promised Baldur he'd protect the city if ever its existence was threatened, but just the once. Since then, the city has faced countless threats, but we always overcame. There was never a need to call on the worm. Until now. The Absolute is the greatest threat Baldur's Gate ever faced. The worm must be awakened, and the task falls to you. Take this. The legend of Azure. An ancient epic, ill-remembered, dismissed as a mere tale. Let it set the path before you.
Baldur's Gate stands on the brink of the abyss. My father was clear. We awaken the worm and take back the city.
Wyll, you are more valorous than Baldur himself. May the city know the truth of my only son. Pride of Ravengard. Pride of Baldur's Gate.
We'll finish what my father couldn't. We'll awaken Azure, the heart of the gate. I disappointed him once. I won't do it again. Go on, read the legend of Azure. Then we can plan our next steps. It's complicated. There's the joy of reconciliation, the relief of forgiveness, and the anxiety of new expectation. It's a flurry of emotion. I'm not sure how to make sense of it. Joy. To my father, I was only ever a boy. Incredible that he can see the man I became. Once all this is ended, once we've crushed the brain and freed the people, I could once more call Baldur's Gate home. Whether I return there, well, only time will tell. Let's talk. It's not just a legend. It's a history. Consider this. To Wormway 'neath prison's deepest level. That must mean Worm's rock prison. That's where we'll find the entrance to this Wormway. Then this. With the shock of a true hero's spark flickers, the torches are light, and Worm's eyes shall awake a glitter. To open the way, we'll need to spark torches. This dragon Azure was Baldur's ally. We'd be fools to let him sleep while the Dead Three's chosen raised the city.
A true champion knows justice and eliminates those who stand in its way. Restore the balance of justice.
Justice. No pardon without repentance, and no penalty without mercy. The right path often lies between the extremes.
Mercy, please. Justice should be a harsh lesson. All the better to deter the next vagabond.
Wise indeed, though I can't take credit. It was my father who taught me the ways of the just. This place is astonishing. A bard's legend made real. I failed. The heart of the gate is dead. We need to see my father. He should know what happened with Azure. To camp. Father should know of Azure's fate.
The Absolute's voice is gone, but I still hear its echoes. Reflections of reflections.
I failed, Father. The worm is fallen.
A terrible fate for Azure, my son. Yet my hopes for the city's future have never been higher.
I don't understand.
You and your allies slayed the undead terror that was once the Great Azure. You are stronger than even the Great Worm. You will be the one to part the storms and lead the people through. You, not Azure, are the savior we need. First, you will fell the Absolute. Then we will rebuild Baldur's Gate. We will take back our city together. I will name you Baldurs Gate's newest Grand Duke of the Council. You will be hailed Heart of the Gate.
Grand Duke? I look the part of a fiend. A half-devil possesses my very soul.
I will tell the citizens and the patriarchs of your good works. They will know you carry your father's banner. But it is true. You are still under the she-devil's thumb.
Uncertainty fills the air. Wyll has reached a fork in his path. In which direction will he travel?
Wyll?
I fought to right the wrongs of the coast, to slay the men and monsters that hunt the helpless. It is in the wilds that I find my courage, not in the halls of upper city estates. There will be no Grand Duke Wyll Ravengard, and there will be no Blade of Frontiers. I am now the Blade of Avernus. For as long as demons and devils imperil the Sword Coast, they will be my prey.
Then go with my blessing. Be Faerun's great defender. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. Let these be the lights that guide you, my son. Hail, the Blade of Avernus!
The Blade of Avernus!
A calm settles over you. The Elder Brain is a menace, but with the Blade of Avernus at your side, you know you can triumph.
So, the Blade of Frontiers is dead. Long live the Blade of Avernus. I just hope he stays focused on battling infernal forces. The undead have it hard enough already.
The Blade of Avernus. I can't think of a better man than Wyll to take up the title. It's about time someone stood up to the evil fox populating the hells.
The Blade of Avernus. A new name for a changed man. The four pillars finally rise within me. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. I'm not to abide them, but to become them. But enough reflection for today. I'm of a mind to celebrate. A hearty meal would do the trick. A few hunks of fresh venison, a round of brown ale. What do you say? Wonderful. You hunt the deer, I'll scrounge up the ale. Prepare your belly for a roast a la Blade. Let's hope Gale doesn't take offense if I assume cooking duties, just the once. I scout both the hells and the coast's havens, and I destroy every fiend that dares put its eye on Faerun. The agony of knowing the end is near. I spent years swatting away my fears and doubts of my infernal fate, and I eventually made my peace. I had to. You will too, Karlach. I know it. Until then, I'm here every step of the way. The Netherbrain shakes us, quakes us, claws at our minds, and all for naught. It's afraid. It knows we will fight it, and it knows we can win. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. These were the lessons my father taught me. They are the shields that protect us from the Netherbrain's attacks, and the blades with which we will strike it. Suffering and hate can never prevail, for as long as we wield them. I trust you and stand by you. However you choose, the blade is at the ready. Gather your wits, tend to your weapons. It's time to leave this damnable prison behind. once and for all. Death and devastation, blood and battle. So, our path is set, and we've no choice but to follow. It's afraid. It knows we will fight it, and it knows we can win. Ah, that little voice in the back of our minds. All is lost, it cries out, and it's all too easy to believe it. There's only one good response to it. Shut the hell up. You are not just your fear and your doubts. You are your bravery and your valor, your skill and your strength. Let those voices drown out the others. They're the ones that will guide you to victory. Our city, Father. Today, I fight in your honor. Shit! That can't be good.
There you are. The rat catcher that became alone. The fury of Avernus. The pride of Baldurs Gate. You are spectacular specimens. And you will make spectacular thralls!
There you are, my friend. Breathe deep. Can you smell it?
You take in every scent the night breeze carries. Sweet honeysuckle, tender violets, and an earthy fragrance you can't quite recognize.
Forest trees draped in moss. Bittersweet, smoky, and that faintest hint of vanilla. A far cry from the rancid Avernus heat that's been clogging my lungs. I swear, Karlach and I have felled enough Cambions to build a fortress with their horns. Who'd have thought that just one of those fiends held the key to escaping Avernus for good? One of them sported a map and some blueprints. If you want all the gory details, Karlach can fill you in. I've missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire, the comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side. She's kept me on a long leash, if you can believe it. Every target she's set me on's been a demonic intruder. Tanari assassins who slip into Avernus, Armonites that amass near the sticks. My next target's the most challenging yet, or so she says. I don't know much more, only that it's no demon, but a devil. I'm not worried. Not when Karlach's got my back. I swear she could scare the eyes off a beholder. I've seen him more than a few times, and he's as proud of me as I am of him. He's leading the city's renewal, opened the gates to all newcomers, rebuilt the council from scratch. And he's back in his element, commanding the Flaming Fist with brave heart and no shortage of empathy. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's Chosen primed the Fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, fathers pardoned every last Fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but he's teaching the fist a new lesson. Well, that's enough hell talk for the moment. The night's young. You shouldn't go wasting it. Or wasting any of the wine, for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oh, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.